I want to thank the Esri team for inviting me to come. I've been an Esri partner for the last 2.5 years and worked closely with Esri in the commercial real estate world, the commercial real estate segment. My name is Todd Kuhlmann. I'm from Austin, Texas, and I've been in the commercial real estate industry for 27 years, spending a lot of that time doing sales, brokerage, and then also lending, 14 years as a lender. In 2009, I went to work for a group called the CCIM Institute and CRE Tech as their vice president, and that's when I began my relationship with Esri. So we have a membership at CCIM of about 15,000 members worldwide, and we're providing them with the ArcGIS and BA solutions to these commercial real estate practitioners. One of my jobs at CCIM Tech was to go around the country and present and train our commercial real estate brokers and lenders how to use a system like ArcGIS and use the BA web system. Over and over, people were telling me it's a little bit too complicated. These are not GIS professionals that we work with. These are not people that are even computer literate in many cases. So we decided to start our own solution, and we've partnered with Esri to provide this solution. So I'm going to go through a little bit of our business, the business segment, as well as coming in and looking at our product and the TheAnalyst PRO product and what it solved. So the business segment, when you're looking at Esri in so many different verticals, I'm just going to this morning's session and talking about all the different methods, it's overwhelming. I've been to these partner conferences, the user conferences a lot, and I get overwhelmed. And I understand this stuff, and I understand GIS. So I can only imagine somebody in my industry coming to one of these sessions, and pages of notes is what I usually take. And I get real excited and say, let's implement all this into our solution. When I really get down to it, though, I've got to keep it simple for my business segment. So when I'm looking at the Esri, I'm looking more at kind of the macro view, going into all these different verticals. So my business segment is really drilled down to just the commercial real estate segment. Commercial real estate being our brokers and salespeople out there selling commercial real estate properties, people that are developing, lenders that are lending on it, the analysts that have to analyze these properties, whether it be for their investor, REITs, pension funds, the publicly traded companies, versus then also our individual investors, partnership investors. And so these are the segments that my company focuses on, and I want to talk a little bit about how we're using the Esri BA system and ArcGIS system to keep in front of that segment and give them the information they need. So what information do they need? Well, this particular business segments, they need to analyze commercial real estate. So when they're looking at different commercial real estate, it's not cookie cutter. It's not like buying a house where you're going to have the same data elements for each home. What's the square footage of the house? How old is the house? What's the location of the house? What are the sales in that area? Those are not all options we have in the commercial real estate. Every commercial real estate property is completely different. This convention center is different than the Hard Rock Cafe, which is different than a small retail center downtown in Palm Springs. So each one of these, even though they're in the same location, have very specific and different attributes for them. So to analyze that investment, we do what's called a financial analysis. So this is really the premise for our software solution, TheAnalyst. We come in and we're able to analyze the financial return on a property. We're able to analyze every tenant and every lease in that property and the cash flows on those leases and the cash flows on those properties, and we project those going forward. Most REITs and pension funds and life insurance companies out there that are investing in real estate are looking at a 5 to 10 year projection on what that investment's going to be, what the analysis for that investment's going to be. But then we have to take into account a little bit more of the subjective point of view as well. And that's when we start getting into, and I call the financial analysis kind of the objective. It's black and white in many cases. So if I'm looking at analyzing a commercial property and I can say, here's my return requirement, I need this much return on my investment, I can get pretty objective in my financial analysis to see if that's a black and white yes or no. But then the next piece is coming in, it's our psychographic and demographic analysis. And this is where we've used Esri to help us with the demographic and psychographic. That's going to be looking at what is more of our demand drivers on the property. And I think on my slide I say, is the demand for real estate here? And I can look at, and one of the things we use in the Esri system is we look at what's the past. What was the demand here 5 years ago? What's the current demand today? What's the demand going to be 5 years from now? And we do a lot of analysis on this, especially on a population and job growth, income growth, like you were saying on your t-shirts. We're doing the same thing he's doing with the t-shirts, but now to determine if your business is going to succeed in that location. If I build an apartment complex in that location, am I going to build 1-bedroom units, 2-bedroom units, 2-bedroom, 2-bath units? How big are those units? How much can I rent them for? All based on the demographic and psychographic information in that area. If I'm in Ann Arbor, which your psychographic was dorms to diplomas.
In style.
I'm in style, dorms and diplomas. I'm probably not going to go in and build real expensive 1-bedroom apartment units. I'm probably going to be looking for more student-compatible type housing units based on that particular need for that particular location. So my option is to go in to the BAO, the Business Analyst System, and using that, do the mapping as Praveen did for us. But my users don't necessarily do that. My users, and I call this our business problem, our users come in and there's many different solutions and segmented solutions for them to do a financial analysis. And if you talk to most commercial real estate brokers out there, they're using a sophisticated program called Excel to calculate their cap rates and cash-on-cash returns and IRRs and investments. And then they're getting the output equivalent to what they put in, right? So they have to be either masters in Excel or their company has created an Excel template for them to do. So it's not very efficient. The other thing too is very complex solutions. There's one group out there called Argus, and they do financial analysis, only financial analysis, very expensive, very high learning curve to learn Argus. And so it's typically too complex for my industry. For somebody that's selling a piece of commercial real estate, they're not born to be analysts and analyzing these properties. So either they need to hire an analyst to do this for them, or they have to find another solution that is not so complex and not so time consuming. So again, their option is to hire an analyst. And I love this little graphic here because it really comes down to that time, the expertise, and the money that they have. And everything that we're doing right now is to try to save them time, try to save them and make them money. This is our value proposition from our company to them, is how can we go into each of these sections and provide a value to them. And that's where our software is doing that. So our business solution basically combines that financial analysis, lease analysis, demographic analysis, psychographic analysis, and it's all available to our users. And I try to keep it within just 2 steps. So they can do a financial analysis on a property in 5 or 10 minutes. And it would be equivalent to a financial analysis they would do in one of the big programs. Then automatically they can take that location information and run a demographic analysis report using a lot of the template reports that are already in the business analyst solution. And now the infographics. And then taking also the psychographic reports and layering that in there. We use traffic. When we started working with Esri, we came in and we started with the premise that we want to make it simple. How can we make it the most simple method for our users? And whether it's on the website or whether it's on their mobile device. So, 2 simple steps. They have to confirm that study area, i.e. the location that I want to be at. And then secondly, I just select the reports that I want it to generate. So if I want to do, and we use our own technology and then we make the calls to Esri through their APIs. So we're calling based on the location information, we're creating the report on their map. So we've integrated the Esri mapping into our software solution, but then everything else is API driven. So our calls that we're calling is basically bringing back to us the report that we put together and brand for our clients. And then we can do that on a mobile device as well. So the same thing we can do on the web, we can do it on the mobile device. So again, I come in, I use the Esri map, I have a 135-mile radius that automatically defaults If I open my iPhone right now, it's going to default to where I'm standing with a 135 mile. If I want to change that to a drive time, I can instantly change that to a drive time. If I want a hand-drawn polygon, I can instantly change that to a hand-drawn polygon, all in our system, all using their maps. Step one, I press the continue button, I select the reports that I want generated, and it pulls back then a PDF report for me. And it's all done in real time, so instant satisfaction. A little example I did was something a little bit more passionate to me than t-shirts. That would be craft microbrew beer. A good friend of mine started up a brewery in Arvada, Colorado. And I don't know anything about Denver or Arvada at the time, but he contacted me 5 years ago and he said, Todd, I'm looking at different locations in Denver to create my craft brew. Can you help me? And I said, sure, I know demographics, I know psychographics. So what I did, and this probably wasn't what everybody wants to do, but I gave him the Esri psychographic profile of all 65 different psychographic tapestry segmentations. And I said, his name is Chris, I said, Chris, check for me the psychographic segmentations of the people that are going to go in to an industrial building. Keep that in mind. They're walking into an industrial building paying $5 for a pint of craft beer. So I said, I need to know which categories of psychographics this would apply to. And so he nixed the top ones right off the bat. And then we would take all the ones that would basically rather go by, no offense to anyone, Coors Light or Keystone Light or something like that. They're not going to pay $5 for one pint of beer. And then we take that middle segment, those 5 or 6 segments from that tapestry segmentation. He said, this is where my clients are going to be. These are the type of clients I have. And I was able to take all 4 of his locations he found and then overlay those and create a report showing exactly where he should be. And then so our report came up, we take the data from Esri, we're pulling in via API, make a report, brand it for our client with their information on it, with that study map, location area, and then able to take all the reports that Esri's done all the hard work for us. We're just pulling this thing from an API, bringing it back, whether it's on their iPad device, whether it's on their desktop device, or even on their iPhone device. And thanks to current API, some new stuff we're beta testing and we're rolling out, is the infographic section, which our clients love. Our brokers love this because they understand this. It's not a whole bunch of numbers on a page. They also love it because they feel really comfortable getting in front of their end client, the consumer client, and being able to present this. So again, really key for us in a very complex industry like commercial real estate. Our agents and brokers are wanting to focus on the location and the properties and not on the technical aspects. And so I want to give them, our purpose is to give them something very simple. And I can't say that over and over enough for us. When we first started our relationship with Esri and CRE Tech, we became a partner. We actually became known, we have a lot of users using our software solution because we take all the known environmental records and environmental contamination from properties around the United States. And we created what's called the location risk analysis report for our users. This location risk analysis initially just had several million records of environmental contamination that we created our own database and hosted on Amazon. The report generation would take us well over 20 minutes to deliver the report because of all the geocode points on the map. And we weren't using a geo database. So that's when we got talking with Esri and some of the solution providers and people in the partners program and said, Todd, you need to come in, you need to learn more about the business analyst, how BA can solve this, how you can upload all these records and points in here, and you can generate your report. And we were able to go from about a 25-minute to about a 2-minute report generation time. And with that, we took our location risk analysis from just the environmental records, which is our layer in the database. So we upload that layer into the BA system. But then also using data layers they already had and things that were very interesting and very mandatory for our users, we added in the flood So we're pulling through the ARC system, the flood maps, as well as the crime analysis using the databases that you have in your system. So those databases then allow us to create a single report that has a flood map report, has a crime statistics report, and a crime index compared to the national index, and then using our data and our information on the location of any known environmental items within that area and giving them specifics. So again, all they have to do is open their mobile device, takes them to that current location, you put in the location, run the report, PDF. It then emails them a copy of the report, and it saves a copy of that report into their folder. A lot of our users are PDF people as opposed to wanting an electronic or website version of that, only because they like to include it with their legal information and within their listing presentation information as well. And then when we're able to share that information, we can share that information once we have that document, print it, put it in Dropbox, put it in Box, and any of the other cloud storage. So our partnership with Esri has been terrific. We continue to grow, we continue to expand, and real focus on the commercial real estate community. Some of the things that we're doing now, we're announcing a new partnership with South Korea. So using also some of the data available through only this partnership with Esri, we're able to expand in some of these other locations. Coming in, getting our application into the marketplace as well, and getting additional exposure in that marketplace. And really going to our commercial real estate network that already has a relationship and a business relationship with Esri, and making our relationship just that much stronger because we have that kind of three-legged stool and relationship amongst all of us. So, and then lastly, and again, that infographics. I can't tell you how much our clients love the new infographics. I can customize that infographic report just for their business needs, but it's instant, it's quick for them to do that. Because we're a partner with them, we're really on that cutting edge of working with Praveen and his team to get those infographics integrated into our solution.